everyone! So I guess doing this mask, you guys will be wondering, is it a review? What is it? But in the title you probably can kind of guess, and I'm sorry that I have to appear to you guys like this, but I thought I'll just call this series like mask time or something like that, because I generally do this every weekend, or you know, when I feel the need to de-stress. So the mask I'm using today is the Dr.Jart rubber mask for firming lovers, which is the pink version. I believe that I've had this for a while. So in the rubber pack, actually the product is a little bit dry, which is why there's a crack here, and the product actually is just a lot less. The essence of the cream that you apply on before the mask is actually very hydrating. So this rubber mask is just supposed to kind of allow for absorption and just a cooling effect. But I'm not going to review this mask, and my mask might slip from time to time because generally you're not supposed to speak when you're doing a mask. But I thought that with all the drama going on YouTube, it'd be good to give my 2 cents, and just a full-on disclaimer at this point. My 2 cents meaning it is just an opinion, and I think that I just want to share because, like I mentioned in one of my prior reviews, I want my channel to be a place where we make not just educated consumer decisions, but also just practice being humane and restoring faith in humanity. And yeah, I think just overall I want my channel to be a space where people feel comfortable to discuss things, whether you are severely ignorant or whether you're severely opinionated. I just kind of want it to be a place where everyone can come together and talk in a kind manner about different things. But as most things go, this is the internet, so I am putting myself up for backlash, and especially in Singapore, if I don't play my cards right, be even unemployment, which is kind of the downfall. But just going straight into it, I kind of wanted to discuss the KathleenLights situation. If you guys are not too sure, she basically, the background is this. I'll show you guys the Snapchat that was, I guess, the key piece of evidence in all this.
Just started ringing my doorbell, just showed up to my house. I thought that she was breaking in. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And she was like, we have to film together right now. And I was like, who are you? I am actually obsessed with Kathleen. She's even cooler in person than she is on YouTube. I love her so much. Seriously, this is her first time.
You're just as cool. You're the same. Like, really, the same personality. Amazing.
Stop.
Amazing.
Stop. Keep going. Don't stop. What are you doing? We just got done filming our first video, and now we are moving on to round 2.
Right. We've been sitting here trying to film for like 7 hours. But it's okay.
Literally been an all-day process. Yes. But it's very fun. So we just got done filming a get ready for my channel.
I can't wait for you to try this.
I am not doing this. I'm not doing this.
You don't want to? So you can see.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Post that. You gotta post that. Post that. You gotta post that.
After saying that racial slur or even that racial curse word, she issued a statement on Instagram saying this. Okay, and without going into too much detail about Black history or even the Black Lives Matter movement or even just prejudice when it comes to the Black community, I feel as though me as an Asian, with regards to what she's saying about seeking forgiveness and that kind of thing, it's good that we set the tone that if what she said in terms of using that N-word is not directed at you or your cultural group or your multi-ethnicity group, then you kind of don't have a right to forgive her. And I think this was brought, I already felt this way, but it was highlighted even more by different people I look up to on social media, and I'll just show you one of them. It's right here. It was videos on his Insta story, and I thought it was a really good thing to bring up, because more often than not people forget that, you know, if it's not directed at you, you generally I wouldn't say you don't have a right to forgive, but it's really not even your situation to comment on. But in terms of, you know, being a victim or someone who is going to bestow forgiveness on another person. But yeah, that being said, this whole video is just gonna be just some thoughts, and basically, you know, I'm sure there's gonna be a million channels doing that kind of here for the tea gossip channel, that kind of thing, but this is really not that. This is all gonna be positive thoughts, and if you don't like that, please leave. But it's not to say that I'm excusing her behavior. I'm just saying that I'm not going to slash or taint someone's name, because I don't know her and I will never know her, nor will I know any of you personally unless I meet you and have a personal relationship. But I'm not going to that can of worms. This is just going to be all positive things, and I know I kind of look really crazy, but by the half an hour mark I will definitely remove this, so this won't be permanent. But yeah, let's basically just start with what is racism, and yeah, let's just go from there. So racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed at someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. Synonyms are like racial discrimination, racialism, racial prejudice, bigotry, and the list goes on, bias, intolerance. So all these are synonyms, and going on that basis, it's thinking that your own race is actually higher than someone else's and more so superior than another one's. I think that in this scenario, Kathleen, I wouldn't think that she had that intent, but I'm not sure. But I mean, definitely drunk or not drunk, being able to use that word in general is a tell for something, I feel. That's not to say that we should really kind of make her some sort of sacrificial lamb. I mean, personally as a Christian, I just think that every mistake made by anyone deserves to be forgiven, the capacity of a human, just because we are all sinners, and whether a big sin or a small sin, we all have made sin and God still has forgiven us. So also, religious stuff aside, by kind of saying that word at a fleeting second, she might have thought that knowingly or not knowingly, but having said it, it sort of implicates that, you know, maybe her race is more superior than the rest, her circumstances are more superior than someone else's. So that is racism. And I mean, whether or not you know it or you don't, it is racism. So that's something that we have to be very clear on. And you can say, I mean, even in the statement, she kind of said that she is not racist, she doesn't stand for racism. I feel like even as a capacity of an Asian Chinese in Singapore, which is a multicultural nation, we have Malays, we have Chinese, we have Indian, we have Eurasians, we have so many different kind of races. I believe, this is my perspective, okay, we are all racist, you know. It doesn't matter who you are, we are all racist, whether it be 1% or 100%, we are all racist, and that's something we have to acknowledge, you know. I feel as long as you're not a perfect person, you're not, you know, God or something like that, basically we all have sinned at some point in our life, or even had a fleeting thought. So I mean, it's sad that it's a norm, but it's just like how it's pretty sad that, I don't know, like, that sin is a norm, you know. Like, people can make this kind of mistakes on an everyday basis, people can throw out curse words on an everyday basis. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about people reacting negatively to her. It's just because I feel like it's a bit hypocritical. And if you can accept your own sins or your own mistakes, and you can easily impose a judgment on someone else, then it's kind of hypocritical, I feel. So, but back to racism, like I said, I'm not gonna mention things about Black history, which I do want to tap into in a separate video, but I will definitely, you know, get a more educated opinion on it, speak to people who know and people who have had experience on it, so that, you know, the video becomes a lot more personal and it touches, you know, at least for the minority groups, you know that you are hurt. And I feel like maybe in Singapore, not in Western cultures or even America, where Asians may be a minority, but in Singapore, Chinese is a majority, and that's something we acknowledge. I'm lucky to be privileged in that manner, but other races and even, you know, other cultural groups kind of aren't that privileged, and sometimes they do receive racial backlash in terms of, you know, public policy or things that don't really fit them to a certain extent. I hope I make sense. So for me, I get that privilege that I have, and that I feel like, you know, just staying silent doesn't help anything. So I really do want this to be a frequent series on my channel. But yeah, basically with regards to the KathleenLights scenario, I really just wanted to get out there that anyone who's like searching up dirt on the internet and comes across this video, basically I want to say, number one, if you're not in that racial or ethnicity group, you don't have a right to forgive Kathleen, nor do you have a right to actually be angry. I mean, if she did say another kind of racial slur or racial curse word that targeted you, then yes, you know, it's a conversation for you to have with someone else and for you to feel like hurt and implicated. But using the N-word, by no means does it implicate like a Hispanic, it doesn't implicate a Chinese, it doesn't implicate a Malay, you know what I mean? So yeah, number one, don't get yourself involved if it's not, you know, you can talk about it, you can have opinion about it, but don't get so emotional about it and start spewing out dirt which isn't your place to talk about. And secondly, I just feel like it's good to set the tone that even if you feel like you feel victimized, and I'm not belittling that by any means. If you feel the way she issued her statement may not really be fully sincere, because she could have acknowledged that she is a racist and she needs to be more educated, I felt like her statement did not convey that, which it should have. And yeah, basically, as I said, we are all racist, we all do sin, you know what I mean, like whether a big sin, a small sin. Thinking about, you know, infidelity, like, you know, big sin, small sin, we all have committed an act of sin before, and that translates into sin equals mistakes. So for people who are not religious, so let's spare her and really just take it as a learning opportunity. I mean, it really is unfortunate that she had to be in the limelight, but I think it's great in terms of everyday people coming to discuss these things. And a lot of the times I like to understand why and how I would do it differently. So yeah, I guess that's why this Mask Time series is coming about, because most of the time I would be talking about these kind of happenings, or it would be triggered based on that, and we'll just have a chat. Or even developing from this, I may choose to educate myself about really the struggles and the hardships behind, you know, the different things that go on for different ethnic groups, especially my own. I feel like I don't have all the answers to why Asians are being misrepresented in media and all that kind of thing, but you know, I feel like always the answer to hate is, number one, being educated, and two, love. So we should never feel too stricken in hate indefinitely. You know, it's not a good place to be, especially in our current climate in the world. It's really not healthy at all. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And basically, if you guys were looking for drama on Kathleen, this really isn't it. Like I mentioned, it was just a bit of thought, and also just, you know, for me to let anyone know who is kind of like distasted at her, or like, you know, just super angry at her when it's not your place to be angry. It's kind of like, you know, just shedding light basically. So I'm gonna remove this now. Okay, yeah, and sorry, that was like a midpoint mask break. I was just rubbing in the remaining essence. But yeah, I hope you guys like this kind of like informal chat. I am literally on my bed. This is my my backboard in terms of my bed. It's just a wall, a blue wall. So yeah, I'll try to edit this down into something more concise, but really it's just a few thoughts that I'm rambling out. And yeah, please, if anyone has any comments or, you know, things to consider with regards to this area or this happening, please leave a comment down below. Don't be scared, because I just want to say that, you know, even if you have a very flawed kind of opinion, or even something that is almost like that doesn't sound right, but as long as it's not hate, I would love you to put your comments down below, and we can start a really open discussion and start building a community of people who, yes, we may not be fully informed or fully educated, but we want to get there. So yeah, I kind of just want to draw these kind of like-minded people together on my channel, and yeah, just start a very empowering conversation in the comment section, and also to other platforms that I may have. It may be a really small group, but you know, one person is better than no one, and I will start with myself. So yeah, I have nothing else to add, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.